Tonight on Q2, the power of plowing.
If we didn't plow last night, the school buses would have never got into most of the schools.
Crews out late and early to ensure all kids make it to school safe in this winter wonderland. Plus, frustrated with concerns over the future.
It hurts in your heart to lose your job.
With hundreds of Montana Forest Service workers losing their jobs, we hear from them as they warn of the impact it could have on the Treasure State and beating the odds.
I remember waking up from the first time that they shocked me, thinking, wow, that really hurt.
They say cats have 9 lives, but one Laurel man truly has 11. The MTN 530 News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
A good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger. Billings is a true winter wonderland right now with a lot of snow falling the last week and a half. In fact, in the last 48 hours, the Magic City has seen around 11 inches of fresh powder in some areas, on top of all that snow that was already on the ground. But through it all, Billings schools have stayed open with a lot of that credit going to district plow crews. Tonight, our Charlie Kleps rides along to see the around-the-clock work it takes to keep all of the campuses running smoothly.
The snow is piled high here at the Washington Innovation Center, just like it is at all 36 school district campuses around the city. But that isn't something that just magically happens. In fact, it's a long process that begins when most of us are asleep. In the still of the night, the snow relentlessly fell.
It's a little better today than it was yesterday.
While most of us were fast asleep, 8 Billings school employees were hard at work.
It's non-ending what we do.
Their job is to maintain the different campuses around Billings. That includes snow removal, which makes for some late evenings.
Usually go out at midnight and try to get everything cleaned up before all the teachers and everybody shows up in the buses.
Meet Don Malia. He's done this job for 24 years, understanding just how important it is.
If we didn't plow last night, the school buses would have never got into most of the schools. We play a part in making everything safe and clean and a good environment for the kids to be in.
In the daylight, students and teachers arrive to a campus neatly plowed, not realizing the work done the night before.
You're kind of stuck with the way nature deals it to you.
There's only so much you can do with the time you have.
But Facilities Director Scott Ryder and Facilities Coordinator Megan Trevino know the hours Malia and his crew have spent.
The ground staff is an impressive group of guys that are pretty dedicated to keeping it safe.
A crew diligently working behind the scenes.
It's not fun work to be out there doing it all night away from your family. Sometimes we'll get it and it'll be 3 or 4 days in a row and they're out every time.
And still managing to laugh after 24 years.
Do you have a favorite part when it comes to the snow removal side of it, or?
No. Yeah, when it's all done.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Well, the snow is mostly on its way out, but it's already been one of the snowiest Februarys on record. Tonight, Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh lets us know just how much we've seen over the last 18 days and where that stacks up historically.
Well, if it seemed like a lot of snow this month, you're right. This is from the Billings Airport. Right now, we're sitting at 30.7 inches of snowfall this year. That puts us in 3rd place overall. The 2 top years ended up being the highest overall for the season with over 100 inches of snowfall. That's not going to happen this year because we got off to such a slow start. But also notice that the top 4 all have occurred within the last 11 years. It looks like February is becoming a snowier month overall. As far as the rest of the area, here are some of the snow reports we got by county, the higher amounts, including that foot of snow. In fact, over 1.5 feet recorded at the Billings Airport. Going to be talking about the cold temperatures coming up.
Well, cold starts like the possible record low expected tomorrow morning can make for hard starts for vehicles. Shouldn't be much of a problem for school buses in School District 2, though. Superintendent Dr. Erwin Garcia says the buses can handle even colder temperatures than what we're expecting tomorrow morning.
Pretty much diesel with the additive could function well even with -35, -40. However, when you get to that point, -35, -40, and this is not windshield, this is actual temperatures, You might have the risk of the diesel gelling up, which could be a concern because, of course, the buses will stop running after about 5 minutes.
Well, as of now, there are no plans to delay start times tomorrow in School District 2. We're learning an off-duty Yellowstone County deputy sheriff shot himself early Saturday after crashing his car into a home in the Heights. That deputy has been identified as Jason Thompson, a 5-year veteran of the department. The 31-year-old allegedly slammed into the side of a home near Hawthorne Lane and Barrett Road around 2 Saturday morning, then fled the scene. According to Sheriff Mike Lindner, first responders followed Thompson's tracks in the snow and found him at his own home a short distance away, suffering from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Thompson was rushed to the hospital. His current condition is not being released. The Montana Highway Patrol is investigating the crash and the factors that led to it. So far, no charges have been filed. Meanwhile, 3 Good Samaritans are dead, including a juvenile, after they were hit and killed by a semi-truck this morning while trying to help a driver who slid off of Interstate 90 near Frenchtown. According to the Montana Highway Patrol, an SUV was traveling east on I-90 when it lost control and slid off the highway around 3 a.m. 2 vehicles then stopped to offer assistance. While outside of the vehicles rendering medical attention, 2 men were struck and killed by a semi-truck that lost control. A tractor trailer then struck the 2 parked cars, killing 1 juvenile who was inside and severely injuring another. Well, as we've reported, 35,000 U.S. Forest Service employees are losing their jobs. That's about 10% of the agency's total workforce. That includes 360 workers in Montana, with at least 9 of those coming from Red Lodge. The layoffs, all part of a larger push by President Donald Trump to slash government spending. As our Haley Monaco reports, the decision is leaving those who are now out of work devastated and facing uncertain futures.
With the below-zero temps and snow covering much of our state, many Montanans are counting down the days until they can get outside and recreate in the summer. But this year, things may look a lot different.
I wanted to be somewhere where the land felt expansive and looked the way that it used to look.
From mountains, rivers, and the trails that get us there, Montana is one of the best places to head outdoors.
It's a dream job because I get to be in a place that I care about.
And for many, it was the best place to work.
It was crushing. You know, it's such a big piece of my life. I've dedicated my entire life and working experience to this.
For the past 4 years, Adam Sadowski has helped build and clear trails in the Beartooth Ranger District. He says he's one of 9 employees based in Red Lodge now without a job.
I was in Red Lodge for 4 years, and I was the crew lead for the last 3. Everybody below me was terminated.
It's just crazy to me that a swipe of a pen is affecting so many people with utter disregard for not just federal employees, but the public too.
Stephen Gutierrez is the national business representative for federal employees, which represents Forest Service employees nationwide. And he knows, more than most, the impact the layoffs of thousands of U.S. Forest and National Park Service employees could have on all who enjoy the great outdoors.
They're going to see trails that aren't opened, trash cans overfilled because they're not being taken out. They're going to see wildfires go unmitigated, right?
We were doing this job for you and for the land.
At least 360 Forest Service workers in Montana are losing their jobs.
They all received a blanket template email saying their poor performance was not in the public's interest. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Their way of life, dream jobs, gone in an instant.
We are more so concerned about the impacts to the land and to the work that we've invested our lives into.
Work now halted, with thousands across the country not knowing what their next steps will be.
But hopefully, with our legal action, we'll be able to reverse course. But ultimately, that's in the court's hands.
These impacts are going to be apparent.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Well, the downsizing of government is continuing to make waves in Washington, garnering reaction from both Democrats and Republicans. That includes two of Montana's representatives, Republicans Ryan Zinke and Troy Downing. Congressman Zinke says, well, he doesn't want to see the reductions affect wildfire response. The federal government does have to get serious about finding ways to save money.
And look, when I was Secretary of Interior, I stopped funding all programs until I knew where the money was going. I think that's absolutely prudent. That's what you should be doing. And at the end of the day, the good projects stay, the great projects excel, and the bad projects go away.
Meanwhile, Downing, who represents Montana's Eastern District, says the federal DOGE effort has identified some concerning spending and says the government can be more surgical in determining how taxpayer money is used.
Well, I don't want to discount anybody losing their job. Obviously, nobody likes that. We do have some big issues that we need to address, and I think a lot of that is looking at whether we are overstaffing or staffing in the wrong way.
Now, today, President Trump indicated that Musk's team would soon be headed to the Pentagon for meetings there.